All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the GSL Code A, and we are starting off the round of 16 today. I am Moletrap. With me here is Wolf. How are you doing today, Wolf?
I'm doing great. We've got some awesome matches coming up. First up, we're going to have FruitDealer versus GanZI. By the way, special thanks to our sponsors. You can see them at the bottom of the screen. Really want to just shout out to them as much as possible because I love Pepsi.
I know you're like a personal fan of Pepsi.
I am actually a personal fan
of Pepsi. To you, they're more than just a sponsor.
Well, back at home, actually, I'm from Atlanta, and Coca-Cola is, of course, just like the rival of Pepsi, so all my friends would always just, you know, be like, why do you get Pepsi? It's just like a big rivalry thing, and everyone drinks Coke except me. I'm like the only one who drinks Pepsi. Is Coke bottled in Atlanta or something? Is that why everyone drinks it there? It's from Atlanta originally, and there's like a bottling company there. I mean, it's bottled there a little bit. I'm sure it's bottled many more places than just Atlanta.
Where is the home of Pepsi?
That's actually a good question. I don't know.
I actually used to drink a ton of Mountain Dew, which is a Pepsi product. I drank like so much of that in college. Like I remember my last year of college, I actually kept all my bottles, empty Mountain Dew bottles. So I traded them. I had like $17 worth of, you know, Mountain Dew bottles at the end, and that's actually a lot when you're thinking like a lot of that is like plastic 2 liters.
Isn't that like 5 cents per bottle or something like that?
Some of it was cans too, which are a little heavier. It was a lot though.
That is a lot, man.
Yeah.
I used to drink, I'd just get 24 packs of Pepsi. It would take me like a month to drink it, but
I would get like a 2 liter of Mountain Dew, and it would take me like an afternoon to drink it. It was actually a little excessive. Anyway,
well, you guys should do that too.
Yes, you guys should do that too. Go out, get a 2 liter of Pepsi. No, actually, don't get it right now. But you already have it in your fridge because GSL sponsors Pepsi.
Maybe during a 5-minute break.
So you're like supporting them. By the way, some people have been tweeting at Pepsi and like telling them like, thanks for supporting the GSL.
Keep doing that.
That kind of thing actually does help a lot. Companies really do notice that kind of thing. So is that their Twitter, at Pepsi?
I actually don't know if it's just Pepsi. It probably is.
I'll look it up in a minute. Anyway, let's go ahead and take a look at the brackets. Today we have FruitDealer versus GanZI and SC versus Tasia. Those are our first 2 matches. The third match is in the bottom right. Dongray-gu versus JYP. And Sniper versus Czech is not happening today, but that's
tomorrow.
That's part of this side of the bracket as well. It's going to be tomorrow. And those are going to be great games, man. And here is the other side of the bracket. Yoda versus Tassadar is going to be the last game for today. The last match, rather. And then, of course, tomorrow as well, Jokji versus Lucky, Lenok versus Maka, Marine King versus Yu-Gi-Oh! And you can kind of see that's how things line up, too. So the winner of Marine King versus Yu-Gi-Oh! Is going to play the winner of Lucky versus Jokji, etc. So that's how the brackets are kind of lined up. And there's the games for today.
Yep. You just said them, but I'll repeat them for you guys. FruitDealer versus GanZI, SC versus Tasia, Dongray-gu versus JYP, and Tassadar versus Yoda. So
and those are all going to be really good games, I think.
I think the closest one is going to be JYP versus Dongray-gu. That's my opinion.
It might be. I mean, I think SC versus Tasia might be close.
Yeah, Tasia
might be closer than people expect because Tasia actually he has a lot of potential. But I don't think we've seen all of it yet. And here's FruitDealer. He's going to be in the first match.
Yeah, he took out Maru Prime 2-0, which actually kind of surprised me, given that FruitDealer has not done well ZVT recently. And Maru has actually just really impressed me at the qualifiers. But, you know, FruitDealer, he's joined a new team. Maybe he's got new possibilities. He's been training a lot. He's coming up against GanZI here. I think it's going to be difficult for him. I think GanZi's definitely the favorite, but FruitDealer could do it, definitely. Yeah,
FruitDealer has been having such a hard time with Terrans lately. And hold that thought, I'll tell you more about that later. There is the man himself, Slayer's GanZI, who actually has pretty good English. I was talking to him a lot at MLG Anaheim. Well, not a lot, but I talked to him some there, and he was talking about how he's pretty confident in his English. He has pretty good English. He's able to communicate with him a little bit.
Both these guys are yawning, man. It's the morning session here of Code A. I saw FruitDealer yawn, GanZi's yawning. Yeah. Yawns are kind of contagious. Have you noticed that one person yawns, the other people around them start yawning too? But they didn't even see each other yawning, so how does that work?
I don't know.
It's magic.
It is magic. It's a supernatural I don't know.
Phenomena? Yeah, I don't know.
Contagiousness. Because I just started to yawn too. When you're like, oh man, they're both yawning. I felt the urge to yawn. I'm like, oh crap. Anyway, actually, GanZI has not done excessively well against Zergs lately either. He's done okay, but you know, basically his last 2 games against Zergs, have been against Dongriku, and he's lost both of them. And before that, he beat Guinea Pig, though, in the GSTL and Leanox. So he does have some skills. And, of course, he beat a few foreign Zergs over at MLG as well. I think, actually, I'm going to have to double-check, but I think he beat Ret while he was over there, which is pretty significant, actually.
Yeah, Ret
sometimes
has improved a ton, man.
You can't be like, oh, man, he's, like, winning against Zergs because he went to MLG and, like, beat Joe Schmo and Bob Schmob. But, you know, Red is actually a significant win even for a Korean. Let's go ahead and get started with game 1. All right. Here is our Zerg player. He actually won the first ever GSL. He's been struggling more and more since then as the game has evolved. He is
StarTale FruitDealer.
StarTale FruitDealer. Recently joined StarTale.
Yep. Leaving TSL. A big scandal. There was a lot of issues behind that.
Yeah. And here's our Terran player. Up-and-comer for Slayers.
Slayers GanZI.
And when I say up-and-comer, he's actually been doing a lot in like Team League and stuff. He's been doing really well. Took 4th at MLG, I believe. But, you know, hasn't really shown the individual results in the GSL just yet. This is kind of his big opportunity. Now let me, something real quick. Unless, Wolf, you look like you're about to say something. I don't want to...
Well, all I wanted to say was we were talking about Rhett earlier, and Rhett hasn't done well at the GSL, but outside of Korea, he's done extremely well, especially recently. Obviously, winning the Blizzard's BNet Invitational Europe. I don't know exactly the title of that tournament, but I watched it. And I watched him play extremely well there, and GanZI taking him out is pretty significant.
Yeah, you know, he was first place in the rankings for NASL, playing the BlizzCon tournament. All right, I'm going to double check that. Anyway, so what I wanted to mention, though, real quick about FruitDealer is he did take out Rhett, by the way. GanZI took out Rhett in MLG. But FruitDealer, he's been having a lot of trouble against Terrans. This is okay, he played some Terrans in GSTL March and May, lost both of them. He played 2 Terrans in his group in Code S for Season 4. Virus and Top beat him. In up and down matches, 3 Terrans beat him, and that's why he's here in Code A. So basically, he's lost every major Terran match he's had for the last 3 months, up until beating Maru.
Yeah.
So really struggling. Hopefully for him, you know, beating Maru gives him a little bit of confidence. He says, okay, I actually can beat Terrans after all. Especially since, you know, when he was winning the GSL, he was owning Terrans.
He was, man.
Back in the day.
That's like actually what he got so popular for. He was like the Zerg hero.
Yeah.
Well, GanZI has gone Command Center first, Mole Trap.
Uh-oh.
Very fast Command Center. It's about, I believe it was at 14. It's pretty common to see in this matchup on this map. It's a bold move to make, but as you can see, even the drone scout's going to be here late. Can't even harass that SCV building. Of course, he's building at the top of his ramp. Now this drone's going to see the barracks isn't done yet, so he's going to know exactly what's going on. Can't really punish it. And of course, he went hatch first, so both these guys are just going for very macro-oriented openings.
Indeed, and that's not uncommon on Terminus 3, of course.
Yeah, the most macro of maps.
The macroiest macro map in all of macro city.
Makes me want to eat some mac and cheese. So much macro on this map.
Macro and cheese. And of course, you can't just make one box, man. Got to make a lot of boxes at once.
That's true, man. Well, I mean, we talk about mac and cheese, but cheese is not very easy to pull off on this map. Sometimes Ace can get away with putting 2 proxy gates in Ring King's base and then still lose.
Macro and cheese don't really go well together. And
Econ cheese. So remember in Brood War, some people go CC first, Flash goes like 14 CC, and people are like, it's an Econ cheese. It's an Econ cheese. I hated those people, man. They were so wrong.
I guess it's kind of, they're thinking like it's cheesy because if you get away with it, then you're like too far ahead.
Yeah, it's really risky on some maps, but
yeah, it's actually really risky in general. Like that's what ended up being Flash's temporary downfall. Like he was winning everything, and then he's got so confident he just started like 14 Command Center every single game against every race, and people were like, "Oh, I'll just rush you then," and he got eliminated. Anyway, GanZI is going to be moving out and taking his expansion here, and pretty safe to do that. He was putting on some pressure with those Marines, forced a little bit of defense. There was a spine crawler up, but FruitDealer didn't overreact, really. He's making drones still. He doesn't make too many Zerglings.
Yeah. Blue Flame being researched for GanZI as he adds 2 barracks. So the reason why Blue Flame has become so popular is because the multitasking that it owns. Yeah, that's the fundamental reason. But beyond that,
Sorry.
beyond that, the reason why it's become so popular is if you have good control and multitasking, you can do so much with Hellions. You can poke at the evolution chamber as part of the wall. You can poke at drones. If they make any mistakes, you have so many opportunities. You can control the map. It's just such a powerful tool to use. It always keeps a Zerg player nervous and guessing.
Yeah. And then, you know, as the game progresses, usually people don't, like, go back and get that blue flame later on. But if you get it early on, I don't know, obviously you can get it later on. But anyway, point being, if you have that early on, you can do a lot of pressure with it. And then later on in the game, you can just be like, oh, well, I'm just going to, like, spend 200 minerals and, like, go kill every drone at their 4th across the map that they can't defend.
Exactly. Now, we see that a lot in both TVZ and TVT. Maybe one day in PvP we'll see it.
That was kind of adorable with the Hellion and the Zergling at the opposite towers, just chilling. Anyway,
one tower apiece.
GanZI moving out here with a small force. He's got a few Hellions that are going to be blue flame upgraded in just a moment. There it goes. And a series of Marines, a little contingent of Marines going out as well. And he's going to put on some pressure here. FruitDealer morphing some Banelings, though. Those Banelings are going to be more than enough to hold this off if played correctly. He doesn't have speed, but he's on creep.
Speaking of creep, that creep's starting to erode away here as the scan goes down. Here come the Banelings with good Hellion micro, though. You should be okay.
And the Banelings fall back. They don't want to die unnecessarily.
Really good spine crawler placement by FruitDealer. He's got it so far out the front there, you can kind of control that choke with the Banelings.
That's true.
I like that a lot.
You can always run back to it. And he's expecting a drop. Look at this. FruitDealer sending some Banelings back there. And wisely so. I mean, often the Blue Flame Hellion poke is followed by a Blue Flame Hellion drop.
Yeah,
so
it's very, very common to see that.
Very smart move by FruitDealer. And he's always been a smart player, you know? I feel like he's someone that maybe his mechanics haven't kept up with the evolution of the game, but he's always been really smart, I think.
Yeah. He makes a lot of smart decisions. He can be very defensive at times, and that was what he was really popular for. You know, even back in the finals versus Hope Torture back in GSL Open Season 1. Hope Torture.
Who's that? Just kidding.
Well, when he was playing against him, he did Infestor defense with spines against all the drops that Hope Torture was trying to pull off, and really showed that Zerg can win. I
guess I should explain that, like I was acting like it was obvious, but Hope Torture is actually now Rainbow.
Yeah.
Formerly into the Rainbow in Brood War. Very, very old school player. This Overlord is going to die, and the Mulisks are a little bit too late, but they are out, in fact, and they're going to chase this Viking back into the base. GanZI's going to lose that Viking, and looks like an SCV as well. Not too bad for only 3 mutas.
Yeah, pretty good trade, I would say. Almost a rip-off, really.
Yeah.
And FruitDealer taking a fast 4th base. That is pretty risky, but given the fact that he's got mutas out now, he's just going to keep controlling the game with those. Look at this, coming in again to the 3rd base. You guys maybe get a shot of it. Taking out a few SCVs, dropping some mules down there. Even doing some damage to the turret. I love it. I love it.
I love it as well. And now here's the thing. You're talking about macro. GanZI taking his 3rd base. FruitDealer taking his 4th base up at the middle top of the map. These guys are going to go macro crazy here pretty soon. And do they actually have the workers to support all that, though?
Well, 57 SCVs and 65 drones is pretty much good enough.
Yeah.
And
they're making more.
Yeah.
GanZI is, at least.
FruitDealer's making a macro hatchery as well. He's got the ability to do that. I really like that choice. More Zerg players need to do that to get that extra larva. It's very important, especially through the mid-game.
Yeah. Yeah, especially, and I mean, it depends on what kind of units you're making. Like, if you're making a lot of Zerglings, you actually need that extra hatchery in order to spend all your money. And if you're at 3 bases, you need an extra hatchet regardless of what you're making, though. So
exactly.
So it makes a lot of sense.
These mutas continuing to harass GanZI, making sure that he stays in his base so he can secure that 4th. The 4th is up. He hasn't transferred any workers over there yet. His creep spread is pretty good. He's got it about a 1/3 of the way across to GanZI's base. GanZI looks like he wants to do a drop here, but it's a very risky time to drop with these mutas out.
Yeah, if he somehow gets caught in transit, the mutas will just destroy the whole medevac with all the Marines in it. Won't accomplish anything. And actually, I don't know if dropping is such a good idea anyway, because even if unless the mutas are really out of position when he drops, it's just going to get cleaned up pretty easy.
Yeah, it's a pretty big risk.
I mean, FruitDealer has like Banelings and Zerglings patrolling in the back of his main supply line.
Nice little scan there. Always have to be careful now with the trends of Banelings being burrowed. Mutas always seem like a trap. And GanZI is moving out here, and FruitDealer are going to take this opportunity to go for a counterattack and take out this bunker here, and probably going to get the siege tank at the very least. Maybe even some medevacs.
Pick it up. Oh wow, everything coming back here though. Zerglings are going to get cleaned up, but while the Marines are dealing with that, the Mutalisks are going to be able to kill off a turret and a few SCVs, and probably just going to be able to get out there. Yeah, nice. And he forces an extra stim on the whole army there, or about half the army.
Yeah, really nice control by FruitDealer. Now this drop is actually going to FruitDealer's external base.
Whoa,
he hasn't even scouted it, but he's going to run into it on his way over, and he just knows it's there. I'm looking at his vision. He didn't even know, and he just he went right there, man.
You know what? GanZI is actually good enough, though, that I wouldn't put past him to have, well, I guess and he's actually tearing apart this base really badly. Spinecrawlers are a little bit too late. He's pushing across the middle as well. Is this hatchery going to go down before the Mutas can clean it up? And no, it's not. It's got plenty of health left.
But meanwhile, in the middle of the map, a pretty large engagement goes on. Banelings tried killing some Marines, but unfortunately, GanZI's control was too good. FruitDealer, though, is still up quite significantly in supply. He's got 48 Zerglings on the way. His Pathogen Gland upgrade has started. His +2 flyer attacks on the way, and +2 melee attacks. He's going to have some good upgrades coming on here pretty soon.
Yeah, anyway, it's just going to hold that thought. A couple of Mutalisks, or a Mutalisk getting picked off for no reason there. Oh, and these Banelings are going to always, oh my goodness, that is hardcore. That could be really big later on, because he's not going to expect Banelings to be burrowed, snuck in so close to his base.
Exactly.
And oftentimes Terran will like kind of push out with their army, and then they'll build up a new army, and then they'll move out with a large army instead of like reinforcing one at a time.
Uh-oh, gonna lose a tank. Nice control by FruitDealer. One tank for one mutant, not a bad trade. Oh, here he goes.
Going in with a lot of Zerglings and Banelings. Banelings running past the tanks. Zerglings taking out the tanks so quickly that the Banelings get really close, and GanZI doesn't even really split his Marines that much. Loses everything. This medevac's gonna die as well. Wow, that was a slaughter, and FruitDealer takes a pretty good lead because now he's secured that 4th base. This drop happened in the main though, while everything was happening in the middle of the map.
Yeah, these Marines killing about 8 drones total, and they will be cleaned up by these Mutalisks, of course. And oh, the Marines over the Banelings. Oh!
He sets off just one Bane.
I like that he only used one, because now that GanZI thinks, oh, there's nothing else there. Well, there's actually still a ton more there.
That was weird though, because one doesn't actually kill a Marine. Anyway, and here's some Banelings that GanZI, oh no! GanZI does not even move his Marines back. GanZI actually showing some pretty poor control this game, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that's very true. And these Mutas are going to come into his 3rd base. He's going to have to run these other Marines back. Takes out the turret, taking out a lot of SCVs here. Nice control on those Mutas.
Set all of his SCVs to auto repair so they would just heal each other until the Marines got there. It looked like they were just having a hug, like a big group hug of SCVs.
Yeah, man, it's an SCV repair circle. I thought they were going to walk over those Banelings there, that's why I said
Oh, they are. Is FruitDealer going to seal it? Oh! Well, not as many kills as I would have expected, but a lot of damaged Marines in there as well. Mutalisks diving in, seeing if they can
he's trying to bait him back again.
Oh, no. Oh,
this is so obvious. Okay. I was going to say that was so obvious. I don't know if he had stepped over that again, I would have been so upset. Turret takes out 2 Mutas, though. Going up here to this base again, going to probably try to target that down. But there are a lot of Zerglings and Banelings here. He may have to just pick up and go home.
Yeah, picks up.
A lot of Zerglings getting caught here. But most of them do escape. More force stims. These medevacs not having a ton of energy left.
Yeah, GanZI is, oh nice, a fungal on that drop. Completely takes it out. GanZI is really not doing a good job of stimming isolated groups of Marines when he needs to. He's just stimming his whole army most of the time.
Well, as we say that, he stims 3 and runs forward. Right, that was pretty funny.
There you go.
+1 just finished for his vehicle weapons. He's got 2-1 upgrades on his Marines with +3 weapons on the way. So pretty good upgrades coming out here. A huge counterattack by FruitDealer. About to run into his natural.
I think GanZI has a lot there, though. I think he's probably going to be okay, be able to defend it. And meantime, taking out this top base again. Now Fruit Dealer's almost mined out in his 3 main bases. Yeah, see, there's a lot of Marines back here to cover. GanZI attacking a lot of different places at once. Needs to be careful. Oh no! Whoa, that was so close. He almost got his whole army fungled.
And this counterattack is about to hit pretty hard at the 3rd base, but GanZI spots it, moves forward, scans. There are so many Zerglings though.
Oh my god, a slaughter of Zerglings.
And he just barely holds off with superior upgrades. That was a close call there.
Yeah.
Now, Fruit Dealer's upgrades are just +2 weapons on his Zerglings. Doesn't have any armor upgrades, or I should say carapace, to be more correct.
This better be good. We could use
Yeah, also he had like a nice little clump so the Zerglings couldn't get too close.
Very true.
Otherwise he would have been a lot worse off. GanZI is pushing up the map here with a really nice little tiered siege tank line. They're, what?
6 Broodlords, man.
Oh dear.
And there are only 2 Vikings out, but he's already prepared. He's got 2 more on the way. He knows the timing for this. But with good fungals, there aren't that many Marines. He has to be very careful throwing away some of those Marines now.
That may have been one of the most ill-fated drops ever. And oh no, transferring drones through tank fire, not a good idea. Actually, I think they were just like on gather command.
Yeah,
has to
they
cancel
were
this base as well. GanZI doesn't have a 4th either, but he may just starve Fruit Dealer out at this point.
I think that's what his plan is. Good fungal on these Marines. Broodlord's cleaning up. They've now been revealed. Of course, GanZI has been preparing for them regardless. He's got 4 Vikings out, 2 more on the way, and these tanks starting to take some serious damage. But he has to be careful of the Mewis. His Vikings get fungled.
Nice.
Fungles a ton of Marines.
No! Huge fungal's gonna take out. Oh, the second fungal does finish off almost all the Marines, but the Broodlord's pouring Broodlings down on them as well. GanZI is forced back. A couple of Vikings in there may save the day. I don't see any more Infestors around.
Yeah, there are a few Infestors, but they don't have enough energy for fungal.
Okay, they're right behind there.
Yeah. They only have about 25 energy apiece. Corruptors over here are going to try to help clean up these Vikings, but good Marine control targeting those down.
Nice.
And these Broodlords being transfused. Nice by Fruit Dealer.
Yeah.
GanZI, I think, just needs to back off for now. Can't hold his position anymore. In fact, he's got like 3 Marines left and 8 medevacs and a siege tank. 2 siege tanks hiding under there.
Yeah, he needs to get out of there. And
well, he does take a 4th.
Exactly. And just use the fact that he's the only one mining right now. I think Fruit Dealer might have gotten that top base up again, but he didn't have many drones up there. Yeah, we're looking at it on the other screen. There's like 6 drones mining right now.
Yeah, that's very true. 57 SCVs to 50 drones. GanZI in the lead there. A lot of Fruit Dealer's drones kind of oversaturated on other bases. And
he's still mining his NAT a little bit too. Okay.
Yeah, he's transferring some of his drones now, but look at this. GanZI just all over the map with these drops. He just picks up and leaves. There's a fungal here.
And he made this target down the hatchery though.
Yep, gets the hatch, lifts up.
Oh.
Dropship may go down. Is he gonna? Nope, he doesn't have enough for another fungal. Gonna try to drop an Infestator. GanZI's not babysitting it.
Yep.
He's gonna get taken out. Just barely.
That's too bad.
That was a little bit sad. A little sad for those Marines.
Yeah. So GanZI's multitasking, failing him a little bit there as well. As it kind of has been the whole game actually. But this drop is not going to do anything. He's going to get taken out by... It's like totally overkill. He's like, oh, 8 Marines and a medevac. I'm going to send like 8 Infestors and 4 Broodlords and 9 Corruptors. And 3 Queens.
Oh, a lot of Marines actually going up to the north base of Fruit Dealer again. He's probably going to target that down.
And the Infestor's like trailing behind. Doesn't have enough for a fungal. But it's going to burrow and run in there. Oh, this one might though. Fungal goes down. And the Banelings are going to run right into the Marines as they're kept in place. Very important. If Fruit Dealer lost the drones at that base, he would have been really bad off. He's behind like 30 supply already.
Something that's interesting to note is that GanZI lifted his main command center away from his main and his 3rd command center away from his 3rd to take his 4th and 5th bases. I kind of like that. It's just, he's in this really scrappy situation where he needs to make every unit that he can. He doesn't want to cut any units to make a command center. So he's actually just lifting those command centers and flying them over. It's good given the situation. Now he's...
Exactly.
This Fruit Dealer base is, I don't know if he can hold this one.
Yeah, he's been able to hold off the little drops at that base, but now it's the full force of GanZI. And this is Fruit Dealer's last mining base up there. And looks like some Infestors are coming in for some shenanigans though at the GanZI's 4th. Here's the attack. That hatchery is going to go down so fast. The drones are burrowed. He doesn't scan to take them out, but the hatchery's gone. Here comes the counterattack, though. There's not a planetary. Fungal's doing a lot of damage, and here come the Broodlords to try and clean up.
Has to be very careful of those corruptors. He wants to take the corruptors out first, but even so, there are so many infestors. Even bringing the queens here was a smart idea.
Yeah, and he fungals all the Vikings as well, so they get taken out pretty quick, transfusing everything. Here's the force, though, of GanZI coming back from that northern base to try and clean up. He's close enough, he can attack the Broodlords. They're being transfused, but I think he's almost out of energy for transfusions.
Yeah, he's running low.
And there we go, Marines from the south. I think it's going to finish that off.
Yeah, by the looks of it, he will just barely clean this up. There's too many Thors. There are a lot of Vikings joining in here as well. More Vikings being rallied. And even though the ground forces have mostly been decimated, this is pretty much all that FruitDealer has left. He has no mining base. He's mining from his natural. There's like less than 200 minerals left. In fact, there's a total of 110 minerals left with that. That's it. And
yeah, SCV's coming out.
Look at that. Oh, help from those Thors. I think that we're going to see a GG pretty soon. Nice attack by FruitDealer, bringing the queens, using the transfuses.
Yeah, that was actually really, that did a lot more than I thought it did, because he had like, apparently like a dozen transfuses on those queens, and he was like keeping the Broodlords alive a lot longer than he should have. Uh-oh, a little bit of a shark attack over here.
Yeah, man, those infestors are like sharks. Stay out of the water.
They're sharks that can cast zombies with guns. Those are the worst kind of sharks.
Yeah, man. Like, you think tiger sharks are bad? You think great whites are bad? It's the infestor shark.
And FruitDealer has gotten another hatchery up over there. It's going to get taken out really quick. FruitDealer has no money and no mining right now. And GanZI has a base. He has two bases, actually.
Yeah, FruitDealer finally got this hatchery to finish, but it's taken out like right afterwards.
And some nice fungals there by FruitDealer, really holding on a little bit. But actually it's going to kill all the Marines. But it doesn't even matter at this point. FruitDealer's at 40 supply to GanZI's 115 and rising. And the production tab is empty for FruitDealer right now. He's going to go ahead and put some Terrans down over here at this base, but
yeah, it's
not going to be enough.
SCVs, but not too big of a deal. In fact, the SCVs over there targeting down the infestors, scanning them and killing them with SCVs. You guys didn't get a shot of it, but GanZI surrounded those infestors that are burrowed right down there with SCVs, and then the infestors burrowed, so we scanned to like kill them with SCVs.
And yeah, GanZI's just taking all kinds of stuff for free.
Yeah,
there's the WW from FruitDealer. GanZI takes game one of this best of 3 series. There he is. Got to be feeling good about that.
Yeah, there were some times in that game where FruitDealer seemed to be ahead, but GanZI just was able to control towards the end and did drops in so many different locations.
And really, you know, I mentioned at one point that his multitasking was failing him. In that, what I meant was that he wasn't really controlling all locations, but his multitasking was succeeding in the fact that he was doing a lot of different things at once. So he wasn't really concentrating on each one, but he was doing so many different things, drops and attacks and more drops, that FruitDealer just couldn't keep up.
Yeah, I mean, the north base that FruitDealer kept trying to take, he was really never able to mine from. In fact, he just had to cancel about 6 times. GanZI would take a dropship full of 8 Marines, see it, attack it, make it cancel, lift up, fly away, see it again, drop those same Marines, kill it, and FruitDealer never sent any mules to take care of it or anything like that. It was just always there.
Yeah, he kept like just kind of trying to barely deal with it and just, you know, sending one infestor to clean up drops and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And his mutas were always occupied kind of in the middle of the map, so they weren't really able to go around and take care of drops and things.
Yeah, that's very true. And the top right base was the base that FruitDealer was always dependent upon, and GanZI kept attacking it, and FruitDealer never committed enough units to hold it. It went down several times. I think he should have been able to hold that a little bit better. If he had controlled the middle of the map better, it would have been good for him.
Yeah.
He did a lot of counterattacks with Zerglings that weren't always very effective, and I think that really kind of turned the game into GanZI's favor.
Yeah, like that one big counterattack where GanZI actually had like 30 Marines at his main, and FruitDealer's like, haha, your army is out of position, I'm going to attack, and then like lost like 60 Zerglings and half his mutas.
Yeah, that was the one attack where I was looking at that and I was like, oh, FruitDealer's gonna win this battle and he's gonna kill a few SCVs, but as it turned out, he like just barely lost, and the Marines started killing his mutas, and he was like, I gotta get out of here.
Yeah.
It's very difficult to read. This is actually one of the most difficult things to tell. And you guys see it a lot, where the Zerg player will try to commit to killing the Marines. He's like, I think I have enough. And making that judgment call is so difficult. And the losses for the Zerg when you make the wrong call are massive. You lose so many expensive units just trying to kill those cheap little Marines, and then you're like, oh, I made a mistake, and I might just lose the game because of this.
Yeah, and it, like you said before, it often does come down to the upgrades. You know, if you've got an upgrade advantage 1 or 2 levels over the Zerglings, the Marines are going to win usually, or vice versa. Anyway, so that was game 1. We're going to get into game 2 here in just a minute. It's going to be on Xel'Naga Fortress, I believe.
Yes, it is.
And we're going to start that game in just a moment here. We're going to see if FruitDealer can bring it back and tie it up, or if GanZI can take the series 2-0.